Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Dave and I'm here with Millie.
Hello.
And we're going to continue our little journey through Saturday.
Yes. Of Northern Kingdoms.
On the Friday, we had made some arrangement with a guy called Fayad. Fayad? Fahad. This trader guy.
Yeah.
Big whoop. Unfortunately, we used all of our money to buy bomb ingredients, and we're flat broke. So why don't you tell us about this wonderful time you had while we had no money?
Well, I actually had the opposite problem. I went to go get my player pack and I had quite a lot of money. I had almost 50 crowns, which is which for one person is quite a lot. Especially when you take into consideration that I did fuck all to get it. You do get paid as a healer within Northern Kingdom sometimes, but it is
the secret ingredient is crime.
I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you very much.
For those that were told as children that crime doesn't pay.
Yeah, it really does within the Northern Kingdom system.
It's all right, man. It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I had quite a lot of money. I also had in my player pack from a previous downtime, I had 2 lots of caravan supplies, which I could either sell and make even more money, or I could give to the free company. And me being the incredible hero to the free company that I am, I gave all of my money and all of my assets to the quartermaster.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't really ever use money at I have a lot of it. At Empire, I don't have any money because nobody's buying any of my shit. But yeah, I kind of I didn't see any point of Mal having all this money. I was like, I'm just gonna give it to the quartermaster, which I think in my downtime is gonna bite me in my ass. But
this is what I was about to say.
That's future Millie's problem.
I would say that resources for me anyway are to have fun in downtime with.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can gather the resources and make deals and all this sort of stuff like this, but I would highly recommend, if Mal wants to have the best spar experience ever, maybe put out feelers and go to a travel agent to find out where the best spar is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's wise.
You know?
But I think as well, so on the Saturday we just finished military council and the quartermaster was sat around with all of these chests, all of these really sad empty chests, and I was like you have these things, because we also had the banker sniffing around, because he was offering to buy all of the free company's debt, right?
Well, at one stage, I think it was at some point on the Saturday, Matt would know better than me, but he slowly started to buy up the free company's debt.
The bastard!
Which is very scary when you think about debt and ownership.
Yeah.
But then we realised that if the free company forecloses on its debts, we are free.
It is true, but it's I also just felt guilty. So yeah, I chucked all of my resources and all of my money at the quartermaster, and then myself and Stout, my cousin, we went on a little bit of a foraging expedition. Because I'm a herbalist, so I can go and identify herbs, pick them up, and bring them back to camp to get things.
They did a really good job in populating the woods, by the way.
Yeah.
Usually when you go to these events and they have stuff hidden in the woods, people come back kind of disappointed. Most people came back really grinning, holding a small bundle of sticks. It was quite cute to watch.
Yeah. But I think it's because they hid them properly. You would find the ores and the metals in rock piles, and you would find all of the herbs in greeny bits and sticking out of trees and all this stuff. You actually had to go and look for them where you would find herbs.
Crazy.
So along riverways, like at the bottom of trees. It was so good.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's
it was
real
really
nice.
And then came back to camp, and the provost, who's Lucky's character, had been contacted by a local Temerian to be like, there's a fort in town that we need to protect. You have to go and find the fort and protect it and stop the enemy from getting within its walls. And did you come on this with us?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The mission that never was is what I'm going to call it.
We got our steps in.
We did.
We did. And me and Billy and Songbird murdered an archer who was causing some problems. Yeah. And the three of us closed him down and killed him. Yeah. So
I think
we looted his body. That was fun.
It was good fun. The problem was that we as the players left not knowing where we were going without a ref. Which is fine until you realise that we didn't know where the fort was, and we had a time-sensitive mission. So
I felt it was one of those where when you go LARPing, you have to pretend that certain things are things.
Yeah.
And then when someone says, this is the fort, or maybe this is the fort, and that gets translated into this is the fort. Yeah. We're halfway down, valiantly protecting a camp shack building. That is not the fort. Yeah. Not the fort at all. Yeah. Eventually we walk up the hill, some valiant rearguard action done by the baddies, murder them.
The nuns are there. The nuns were chasing people through the woods. That was really fucking great.
Always good. Yeah. And yeah, turns out the fort was now empty, including all the supplies that were in the thing. So yeah. It was a big another glorious day in the free company, you know.
Yeah, it was not our proudest moment, I will not lie.
So it was, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was very funny. But it created this really cool dynamic with the whole thing of like the provost has like messed up, and therefore the provost needs to be punished, right?
It was the most brutal takedown I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It was savage.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they know each other, and it sounded like it was fun for everyone. But man, it sounded fucking savage out there. Like, ugh.
I would have not reacted well. It would have been like being called into like the headmaster or headmistress's office and being like slapped on the wrist as a school child for me. Like, I would have hated it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But it did. So basically, what happened was the provost gets dethroned, and then there's another election. And a couple of people put themselves up. So Vigo, who's someone that I think has been provost before.
Yes.
And
I think so. I'm pretty sure I'm saying they're a kind of leadership person within every company. Generally, they're a good level head.
Yeah, very level head, very good. And then I think one of the nuns put themselves forward.
Nice.
A couple of others, and Caltaine. Fucking Caltaine puts themselves forward, and I was so proud of them. Like, in my head, I was like, oh my god, they're sick. Because like, this is only Mary's second event, and it's the same with like Paige and Wonder, is it's only their second event, and to already be going for elections and stuff, like, hats off to them. Like, they have big cojones.
Paige is powerful.
Yeah.
I've known her for a few years now, and she still constantly surprises me with how awesome she is.
So good.
So after the election, okay,
which Caltaine is elected as provost?
Caltaine.
Yes.
There's some like NPC types moving around the camp. Okay. A fellow comes over to our camp who's all like, "Oh, there, I've fallen down on my luck," type thing.
Yes.
A very destitute fellow. His wife had left him for a Nilfgaardian. His dog died. Lost his land. He's got no money. sad times.
Yeah.
We sat him down, gave him a drink. Suggested that maybe he joins the free. He was thinking about joining the free company. But instead he took a loan from the bank. That's not good.
No.
And he was going to go, and with that small amount of loaned money, he was going to turn his life around. And he was going to go and buy a bit of land, farm it, and really, get things put together. There's a bit of commotion by the door.
Yeah.
And then, his name was Edgar.
I thought it was. Are we talking about the NPC or the player?
Yeah, the NPC.
That was Timit, right?
Timit. Never forget Timit. Timit's dead.
Or at least that's what we would call it.
Timit's dead.
Yeah.
They murdered him.
Yeah.
Okay? So we walk over there, and they're like, we killed the spy.
Yeah.
I'm like, there were 4 people in the camp. And they were like, I'm like, why did you kill Timit? And they're like, he was a spy. I'm like, why on earth do you think that Timit is a spy? And they were like, because you had been working on experimental explosives. And I was like, I'd let off a banger earlier that because it had failed in my pocket.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous. So I just, I control detonated it near the camp, basically. I made a thing out of it. It was funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was just making a dodgy explosive safe. And they were like, And then they were like, but they weren't looking for like a date or name or information. I'm like, what are you talking about? That man is just pathetic. He was having the worst time and it was just about to turn it around and you murdered him. And like the other 3, probably quite sus. But they managed to definitely murder at least one person who was definitely innocent.
Yeah.
So from that moment on, I then called the
Provost,
what's their name?
Caltain.
Provost Murderer.
Yeah. And
their name is Murderer now.
Yeah.
So every single time I talk to them, if it was an order, as a passing comment, how are you, Murderer? Every single time it's Murderer.
Yeah.
Because the Dubois do not forget. And we do not forgive.
But it's the thing that I love about Northern Kingdoms is because they've got so many excursions going out for specific character archetypes. So like the witches go out on loads of monster hunts, and all of the mages have their own game. Everybody's got really cool interpersonal plot going on over the weekend.
Murdering people? I don't know if that counts, Millie.
No, but it's like what I mean is
I don't know
like
if that counts. Just murdering poor Timot, whatever the fuck the guy's name, the poor person.
Yeah.
Just murdering that poor innocent poor person.
Yeah.
We were going to get him to be a serf.
Well, but like that's not really storyline. That's just players being murdering arseholes.
Well, it's plot now.
It is now plot. But
I did check in and was like, hey, is it cool if I give you loads of shit? Because I did kind of go at them pretty hard after the murder because I was like, oh my god, this is plot right now. I'll make a big thing out of it.
Yeah.
Also, just to rub the rest of the free companies' faces in it that yes, you may call the Dubois many things, but murderers
not
they
one
are
of
not.
them. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I loved it.
It was intense.
Murderer.
But this is like what was going on was the fact that like life in the camp is so good. Like it's
dynamic.
It's so
it
dynamic.
really feels alive.
Yeah.
One thing, there were some photos came out recently, and one thing that I'm always reminded by when I'm hearing, like, people usually, if you're not a regular LARPer on Facebook, they usually come back with, like, a thank you list of things that they really enjoyed. Like, they sometimes do hots or nots on Facebook, things like that. And there's so many things that you're like, I had no idea that was taking place.
Right.
You can often feel like you're the main character, and bear in mind, I'm playing a Dubois, we're really, really loud. If you push the buttons at Northern Kingdoms, you will be the main character of whatever story you want to tell. And want to tell with the game writers. It's magnificent. Yeah. Speaking of plot, scrying the world of magique.
Yes.
Scrying is some magical bullshit. All of the mages have their own flavour of this stuff, okay? So we've got Dr. Portal.
Mm-hmm.
He does a bit of breakdancing.
Yeah. You've got
Taekwondo.
Yeah. You got Songbird. Plays all of the flute.
The flute. But one thing I like about well, it's not a flute. It's a fucking recorder.
Yes.
The recorder, I don't know whether this is done in other countries, but man, in the UK, they make every poor young person play the recorder. And the recorder is not an instrument that can ever sound good.
No.
Even professionals playing the recorder, it only just about sounds like a musical instrument that you want to listen to.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's so good, though.
But he does a little ditty, and everyone claps and starts to hum and do a bit of a song along with it. It's fucking great fun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
I love it.
But anyway, scrying.
So on the Friday, we scryed the boxes, and the boxes had once again those who are keeping Dubois law at home. The last time the box had been created in a jewelry shop in Novigrad, okay? But it had been made by somebody who wasn't the person who was the bomber. It was more like someone else had been making it for them.
Okay.
This time round, the boxes had been made... And I want to quote this correctly. The crafter isn't the maker, or the maker isn't the crafter. I think the maker isn't the crafter.
Okay.
Which is like one of those oxymorons where it's just like, well, I don't really understand what that means. And Trauma Ref is like big fucking shit-eating grin on his face, like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Haha, winky face, and it's like, go fuck yourself. How'd you like that shit? But yeah. So I'm sitting there. So allegedly this person's making these boxes, and the maker isn't the creator, or the creator isn't the maker. And on the Saturday, and during that as well, they have visions of us as boys in Tucson at school.
Oh my god, yeah, I remember this.
And we're very naughty boys at school. So we're at like a delinquent school for boys, type thing, like the Tucsonese school for troubled young boys or whatever, And there's someone else there, and we can't see them. And bear in mind, like we have a brother, Jean-Luc, who died tragically in an accident. We started off as a joke and is now becoming more real.
Oh God.
And we heard a nursery rhyme that we used to sing when we were children. So in the morning, Dr. Portal's like, because OC were like, it's fucking Jean-Luc, right?
Yeah.
But in the morning, Dr. Portal's like, have you thought about it being your brother? And we're like, our brother is dead. It is ridiculous. And he's just like, maybe it's worth trying. So Songbird does the ritual where we have our family crescent ring. And both me and Jean-Paul cut our fingers and put a bit of family blood on it, okay? Both of us. And we give the ring over, and Ethelred, Elf in Safety, and Merlot, who is the source who we rescued, who we found had been... We found, like, basically the way we found Merlot was there was a huge explosion. Obviously, us being Dubois were drawn to it, and we just found Merlot surrounded by devastated trees and foliage around her, like a big bomb went off, and she had amnesia. So we took her in, made her our squire so we could protect her under the guise of her being our squire. Because we're nobles, and if you want to fuck with us, go fuck yourself, So Merlot's there. And we called her Merlot because of wine. And then who else was there?
Wanda
Songbird
was
doing the thing.
And Wanda was helping.
Merlot was holding the ring, I think.
And then you had Ethelred watching, and Wanda was there.
Yeah, of course Wanda's there.
Yeah.
Of course she is. So they do this ritual, and we're deliberately keeping away because the Ref tells the summoner, the sorcerer, what the plot is to convey to the players. So you can obviously do that annoying thing at D&D where, I roll for history and then the DM explains in very clear language exactly what you know because you rolled a high number, and then you turn to the rest of the party and say what he said, right? So it's better that they get to convey that. We hung back. And then something went wrong. Merlot is mad at us. She's real angry at us, and we don't know what's going on. The vision was in a room that was secured from the inside. It wasn't a cell, and it's not a bank vault.
Jesus.
But it's a secured room, and there's like a dark figure rocking backwards and forwards, and that's the vision we got back.
Oh my god.
Yes, and the burning sense of hate towards me, my brother, and Ethelred. Less so towards Ethelred, but definitely towards me and my brother.
Yeah.
So that's quite scary. What were you there? Can you tell this part of the story?
So I remember Melo's feeling a bit wonky, a bit doolally, and is like, I just want to get away for a little bit and go on a walk. And they go off with Wanda and Songbird. And we're all kind of like sat around the camp like, what the hell is going on? Like I was just sitting and relaxing because I'd had a pretty hard morning of being a, incredible hero and savior of the Free Company. And about 5 minutes later, you see Wanda float in like the ethereal princess that she is. And she goes, Dubois, you fucking cunts.
I'm not having that off Wanda, by the way.
I know,
she came
right?
up to us on the Friday and was like, I need to talk to you about Merlot. And it's like, get your own fucking squire. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's been all up in the Dubois business. I do not like Wanda fucking with our shit. Okay?
Yeah. Because it was like, she was aggressive. Like, both of them were. And they were getting in your face and properly shouting. And I remember Merlot going like, you've been misusing me for years, and you found me in a pit, and now you suddenly think that you are my masters, like a little slave. It was hard.
It was horrible. And like, bear in mind, okay, so out of the two brothers, Jean-Paul is less sympathetic to poor people than I would say that Jean-Micheal is. But Jean-Micheal genuinely loves Merlot, okay? Like, really cares about Merlot. And, like, I'm trying to talk her down and be like, Merlot, what's got into you? That is... what has Wanda done to you? Like, this is not you, blah, 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 blah. And eventually she's just coming up with the most hateful shit. She's biting her thumb at Misa. Okay, that's how she's literally doing that. She's being as obnoxious as she can. Eventually, I lose my cool and I just shout, enough! And I throw my like half full drink onto the ground, which sprays everywhere.
God.
And I'm like, I was trying to add as much gravity as I can to it. And then Merlot just spits on my chest.
It was so good. It was so good. Because I was only like half watching, and I turn around and I see you just frozen in place.
It wasn't like a nasty like spit.
No.
It was like a full of mouth of drink and just spray. And she deliberately didn't fire it into my face, although I saw in her eyes she wanted to. I love breaking non-player characters. I like breaking them so much. They are my playthings.
Yeah.
And I like fucking with them. Like staying within the realms of the game, but fucking with crew.
Yeah, it's so good. And it was like both Chris and Ruth were just in stitches.
May broke me that day. As to quote Ian, I was not prepared.
Yeah.
That was So fucking funny.
It was so good.
She got a fake coin for that. Well deserved.
Yeah.
I think I should have got one for being the receiving end of that. Actually, I might have done. Did I? No,
I think
didn't.
you all got fake coins.
No, I don't think I did.
You should have done because Ellie got 4.
What?
Then to distribute out.
I got one by the end of the weekend. And I know
Yeah,
where
that was your one.
No, that was later on in the weekend.
Fair. Okay, maybe you didn't get one then.
No.
But either way, it was so funny, and it turns out that whatever evil thing had taken over Merlot's brain.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Wanda had tried to look inside. You carry on.
I got carried away. Sorry. Yeah. They storm off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heartbroken. The camp is like everyone's looking over. I'm crying. No, I'm not crying yet. Jean-Paul's like, we need to go over there and like fucking have it out with her because Wanda's got into her mind, and we head over there to the bar, and there's some more shouting at each other. Then it starts off okay, and then immediately escalates, and there's lots of shouting, and we blame Wanda 100% because she fucked with her. I didn't know she had. Turned out she had, but yeah, we were right. Then I go back, and then I'm feeling really bad, and like I leave crying because I'm so upset. I don't know what to do, so I start crying like a toddler running away.
Oh.
And then I'm holding my bollock dagger, which is awesome. Cause it's got proper testicles. It's a really nasty looking thing. And I take the knife out, and I walk over there, and I walk up to Merlot, and I'll just put it down on the table in front of her, and I say, Merlot, I know you don't like me anymore, but maybe you can use this to protect yourself if you don't want my protection anymore. I start crying again and like run out. And then like a few minutes later, Merlot comes back and is like going, the bull dagger made you remember. She's like, remember you tried to feed me apples, but I was too weak. So you used this knife to turn it into apple mush and you fed it to me like a baby. And it was just like, oh my God, May. Like
May is brilliant.
That is she had to make up one memory about the knife having come in helpful, and idea was that I fed her like a baby bird, which I quite like the image of, but wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then basically we were mad, and then at Wanda and Merlot, and then Merlot said sorry, and then Wanda said sorry, so we forgave both of them immediately, as is the rules, and got on with it, you know.
Yeah, it was great, and it was like nothing ever happened.
No, but
it was so funny though, because like
there's still stuff I can't talk about. Shit! Oh my God! Yeah, sorry, I just
can't talk about it. It's a live game. But it was so funny because like me and Billy and Sophie and Matt were all in the camp at the same time that this entire argument started thing, and it was like when May started properly shouting and when Merlot started losing her temper, it was like I was in the middle of the two of you because I was just sat on the bench, and so I remember so Mal and Stout kind of lock eyes and we kind of go, we do not want to be here, and we kind of literally crawl on hands and knees away from everything. And Stout grabs one of the shields and we're like backing away, and it's one of my favorite photos of the entire weekend. Is one of Ben's like photos. Like, hats off to the Togs because you guys caught some of the best moments. But I'm so excited for you to see this photo when it comes out because it is so good.
Togs.
Photographers, Togs.
God.
Yeah, organisers, orgs. But yeah, Togs. So it was so funny. It was the highlight of my weekend. I think it was so good.
The feels and the roleplay flowed through this weekend. I had a fucking great time.
It was so good.
Losing your temper, I don't get to really lose my temper. But like, I did it a couple of times over the weekend, and Oh, it feels good to
It's so
get it
good.
out.
Why do you
And
think
bear in
Mal's
mind,
always so angry?
It's like May. I drove May up. May and me are good friends, so giving May shit is not really a problem because I know we're cool.
Yeah.
So therefore, getting to yell at each other and stuff is fucking fun. Really, really good fun.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, and then the nuns were like, "Hey, who wants to play a drinking game?"
Well, this was so that was, we kind of skipped ahead a little bit, but there was a market that came in first, which had loads of really cool shit in it, which had like potions and shit. But yeah, the nuns come into camp after we've had this massive explosion, and suddenly everybody's friends again, and they go, "Who wants a drinking contest?" And naturally, Direwell and all of the other witches are like, "Yes, we do. We're witches. We are superior drinkers."
I don't really understand. If there was a governing body for let's drink witch potions to see who's standing up, I would. And bear in mind, I'm a pretty inclusive sort of guy.
Yeah.
But dare I say, I don't think witches should be allowed to play the let's drink witch potions until you fall over game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's weird. But you know, offer Mal a contest where she gets to be better at things than the witches, and she's gonna say yes. Yeah, it was.
So the toxicity rules at Northern Kingdoms are you have like a race trait and also a class trait. So I'm a human man-at-arms, and therefore I have 3 toxicity. If I go to 0, I will be in toxic shock.
Yes.
And could die unless I
Yes.
receive medical attention. What is your toxicity?
So I was misinformed. It didn't matter anyway in terms of gameplay, but mine is also 3.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah, so I had.
Are
3.
you a man at arms then?
I am a man at arms, but
And
Kedwenny.
you're a half elf.
No, regular human.
Oh, you're a regular human. I don't know. I just see you
but-
with ears for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like at WoW I had ears. But Mal's really fucking stubborn, so mentally she's got a toxicity of like 5 or 6. The witches have like 9, I think. But mages have a lot less toxicity. They've got like 1 or 2.
Songbird has -1.
Oof.
A strong coffee will kill him.
Oh my god.
Because he's a mage, which is -1, and he's a full-blooded elf, which is a -1.
Oh god. That makes -2.
No, I think you have a basis of 1 to start with.
God. Oh yeah. Oh, fair. God, that makes it so bad. But yeah, so witcher potions have a level of toxicity to them, so you have to be really careful when you're drinking them. The nuns have 3. And what happened next was some of the craziest like things. So they bring out all these potions, and for each potion they've got a different drink. They had made disgusting cocktails. The first one was milk and fizzy water.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't play.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't play.
So it was myself, I think, like, I could get it very wrong, but it was myself, Billy, Ethelred, Direwell. There was a new witcher, a cat witcher, whose name I don't know. But they were so good and so pretty. Like, I don't know. They as a witcher made Mal feel things.
Would you focus?
Sorry, I got very distracted. Please? But anyway, so yeah, there are about 6 of us. We all get shots. First one, milk and fizzy water. We all shot it, and the nuns are describing how we feel, and I instantly start RPing as a like absolutely hardcore drunk. And the nuns are saying, like, oh, you start seeing hallucinations, you start seeing things, the whole world is going doolally. Out comes the second potion. I don't even know what it was, but it did not taste very nice. Down the hatch it goes. We're all starting to get really tipsy at this point.
I can't do it anymore. I cannot drink mystery beverage anymore. It's yeah.
Yeah, I have a weird ability to just kind of not pay attention to taste. I think it comes from years of school cooking.
Years. I'll be careful what you say next, Millie. Jesus.
Years of school cooking, I swear.
Ah, school cooking.
Yeah,
That's what everybody thought you were about to say.
Yeah. And my own really bad cooking. And then the third potion comes out, and I would hasten to call it a liquid. But it was like, I think it was coffee grounds, but it was gritty. You had to chew it. And it was not nice. It was horrible. But it goes down the hatch, and in our brain, that's it. Drinking contest over. Oh no, Dave. I turn around to the sound of time freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole camp goes still as Chris and Ruth, trauma ref, and I don't even know if Ruth has a trauma name, but you're gonna get trauma ref 2. Come in with a load of traumatic injury cards. And expired potion cards, because basically the way that potions work in the Witcher universe is you have to use them within a certain time, or else they expire. And they become really negative things. It's like drinking out of date milk or something. It's just bad juju.
I love, like, getting a card is always a treat. You never know what you're going to get. It could be one of them I saw this weekend was like, sit down and drink water.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
Mwah!
It was like
magnifique.
This was so that one came from a pendant that we bought at the same market these potions came out. It was like you feel thirsty until you quench your thirst with a drink of water. As soon as you drink the water, the pendant breaks and the effect is ruined. Like, you do not feel thirsty anymore. And you're like, oh, God.
I had the same thing on the Sunday. One of my effects was to sit down and drink water. Yeah.
Cute.
This is big and clever game design. I approve.
It's like metagaming, but for self-care.
Yeah, and even veteran players can completely forget to do the thing. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so out come the expired potion cards, and what happened next was the most tense 5-10 minutes of my life, as Ruth opens up every single expired potion to coincide with one of the potions that we'd drunk, and it's like either the toxicity has doubled.
There's one that's really bad, right? And we know that going in, that people have to like draw cards. And
so that happened after we'd done all of the effects. So like we totted up all the toxicity, we were okay. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief, and then Chris draws out the big trauma cards. And Ruth mixes in one of the catastrophic injuries. And like you said, it was one really bad. We all draw one. And the way that the trauma cards work is you read the effect on the back, and that tells you how you feel. And then it's the job of the medic to open it, right? And I look down at my card. And it is not good news. It is bad news. It's like, so the wording was, you have taken a hit that would kill most people. It is a miracle you are still standing. You are bleeding catastrophically. Open this within 30 seconds. And and I lock eyes with Trauma Ref. Trauma Ref locks eyes with me and just pulls out a stopwatch.
You never want to see the stopwatch come out.
You never do, because that
stopwatch
means
is bad.
that's bad. It means bleed count. And I don't know why. I'm very lucky. I've got a 5-minute bleed out. But yeah, so I kind of know it's bad news. They call time in, and suddenly everyone in the bar has collapsed on the ground. Like, there's no one standing. Even the witches are down. Mal's still up. I kind of turn around. I'm like staggering around. The one thing that both of the refs said was the bleeding's internal. So like all of our injuries, even if the card said that we are bleeding from a wound, they're all internal. So we wouldn't have been able to identify it. We would have just been in an excruciating amount of pain. I turn around and one of the new medics is there, and I'm like, do you have any fake blood? And she's like, yeah, of course I've got it. I was like, cover me in it, like give it to me. And I then like wander out of the bar and just collapse on the ground.
It was horrific.
Yeah, because I had my eyes closed for most of this, so you tell me. Like,
you go down, and a lot of people have said this to me, and I've never really seen it, is Millie does a really good dead body.
I do a very good dead body.
Oh my god. I watched medics try and resuscitate Millie. Okay? My disbelief did not work to Mal, and I was like, oh my god, this is my friend dying. Like, that's how it felt. Like, legit, it was fucking, no, fuck you, it was fucking awful. It was a horrible sensation.
I'm sorry that I made you go through that.
Oh, it was so horrible.
Yeah.
And they're doing like safe CPR, and everyone's yelling for rebus, but no one's got any rebus. And it's like, oh, we just need rebus, and no one's got any rebus.
Yeah.
And they're talking about trying to like distill it, and they don't have nothing that can distill. And all the herbalists are looking for it, and they don't have any. And it's just like, this could happen right now. Like Mal could die from a stupid fucking drinking game.
Yeah.
Like, this is very Witcher and very Free Company, but very dark and very real.
Yeah.
Man, and someone grabbed the rebus and ran over. I saw the stopwatch be clicked, and it was just like, oh my god, I think I didn't know whether you died or not.
I
died.
Literally
thought you died.
I had.
It
was horrible. So I died. So I got to the end of my 5 minutes, because basically, so on the inside of the card, it said you cannot stop the bleeding from this wound. You need a mage to slow your heart rate, and then you have to operate for 3 minutes. And you have to stop the bleeding with rebus. Now, bear in mind that you have to operate for 3 minutes, you have to get a mage, and you have to get a rebus, which takes, I think it's like 2 minutes of RP. My stopwatch ran out about before the surgery even started. Like, it took 5 minutes to get anything near me.
It was a proper clusterfuck.
It was hard.
I think that was one of the things that made it more nightmarish, was how real everything was. The genuine confusion and panic and realization.
Yeah.
Of something very serious happening is horrible.
Yeah, it was weird, because like after COVID, I can do a gargle cough on command. It's probably very unhealthy for me. But yeah, so I was making horrible noises. I was making eye contact with Trauma Ref to kind of get so like Chris is a phenomenal ref. I will sing his praises until the cows come home, because he will give you cues. So like he gave me little nods when I needed to pass out. And it's actually like, even though it's a kind of very controlled way of doing RP, it's very liberating, because you feel safe, you know that you're doing the right thing, you're not going off piste. It's good. And it also creates fucking great game for other players. because I had Wanda slowing my heart rate. I had 2 surgeons trying to do the surgery. There was I don't know who it was that was getting the rebus. I think it might have been Tulip. And then Direwell comes over and tries one of the Witcher signs on me to try and get me to slow my heart rate even more. And then on top of that...
It was the whole camp, by the way.
Was it actually?
It was the whole camp.
Oh my
there
God.
Were, every single herbalist, healer, like everyone was running around checking their pockets. It was
my God.
It was, yeah.
God. But yeah, and if I hadn't have done what I did next, which was go into my pouch and pull out a fake coin, I would not be Mal anymore. Like,
what a shame.
Hey. Rude. But yeah, so fake coin gets used.
Amazing.
And Mal is back.
So good.
Yeah.
Like I love a fake coin. I love the mechanics. So amazing.
So good.
I love it.
But yeah, I get up and I get a little brief from Chris, and he goes like, you died. You have seen the precipice, and you have seen what is on the other side. You are now like basically clinically depressed. So I had to spend the next like 3 or 4 hours being really fucking depressed, which is hard.
You are the definition of fuck about and find out.
Yeah.
It was incredible RP by all involved. Please don't ever die, Millie, because it will make me sad.
Well,
okay.
Now you know how Agni felt when Gellet died.
Well, I mean, I'll get over it. You know.
Wah.
Yeah. Oh God, my funeral. Oof. Later on in the evening, I actually went on a bit of a skirmish. I had a bit of a chill out at about 9:30, 10. And then I heard there was going to be a bit of action on the grapevine, so re-armoured up, and then went off and took on some witch hunters.
Nice.
I love beating up witch hunters. There's nothing bad about it. They're bastards and deserve all of your retribution. I was having serious problems with my bangers at this stage. They were not working out well for me. But they had lots and lots of bangers, and it was dark, and we just got lit up by explosives. Took this was a theme for me for the entire weekend. Every time anyone ran up to me with a big weapon and said power call, I would literally like ballerina my way like backwards. I would just be like, I love it. There's something about being in heavy armor and yeeting yourself around. That's a bloody good time. You gotta try and have a look and make sure that you know where you're going. But man, like that's the best. So I was throwing myself around, having a great time, having a great fight with a guy holding a halberd over on the left wing. Got to kill a mage. Well, she's not a mage, sorry. Some sort of priestess, because they don't like that mage bullshit, do they? But yeah, hacked her down. That felt pretty good. She was unarmed, obviously. It was just a good fight. And then when we came back, sat down, took my kit off. Not all my kit, just the just the armor. And then got a front row show to mage bullshit. It was great, wasn't it?
It was so good. The scopy bullshit.
The Necronomicon-y, whatever the fuck it's called. You know, it's something stupid. It's something stupid.
The scope.
Scope.
But yeah, so Wanda's doing this thing, and it's like, I think they're doing it to have a vision of what kind of things we're going to be facing tomorrow.
Ooh, fun.
And so like the I think they have to do it for like 5-10 minutes, which when you're a single person who has to RP for 10 minutes about a very complicated magic ritual, like hats off to Paige, man. It's so good.
Yeah, no, that's hard for normal people. Paige, she just stands up there and pulls it straight out of her ass, and it sounds amazing.
So good.
It's very, very good.
Yeah. And yet again, we get the wonderful call of time freeze. And then everybody close your eyes and hum, which means that the refs are bringing something in. And we all do that for a little bit. And suddenly we open our eyes and the whole camp explodes.
It was so cool.
It was so good.
Also, like, my initial memory is just Wanda shrieking, like just shrieking and confusion and ejaculate going everywhere.
It was ejaculate. It was so good.
Yeah, silly string. Like that was the ejaculate, right? Like,
it was a massive centipede. Like it's legit. Like it's a 10-foot long puppet. And it's insanely good. It's puppeted by 2 people, so good. And then there's a silly string to be like, you've got zapped. For anyone that was in the caves, we all were incredibly traumatized by these centipedes because they are so hard to kill.
They make everything poisonous, basically.
They poison you.
Yeah.
Horrible.
What's great about that scene was the mage. Everyone's shrieking and screaming and grabbing weapons and all this stuff. And the mage is laughing. And as everyone starts to calm down, the mage's laugh carries over.
Yeah.
And it's like, you fucking idiots. And because you can't interact with people on the other side, but also, or maybe you can, I'm not really sure how all that works. That's mage bullshit. But the creature went from being scary to cute. It was uncanny. It was amazing. It was such a good scene, you know.
Yeah, it was so good because basically it was like it was an apparition, right? So it couldn't actually hurt us. And at the center there was this really evil mage who starts flirting shamelessly with Wanda. Unbelievable behavior. Okay. And then Dr. Portal steps in and is like, so when's the wedding? And then the mage takes offense and fucks off. And that was it.
It was very flirty.
It was incredibly flirty. Like,
it was awkward. Like, I've never seen 2 people eye fuck each other that bad in front of like a room full of people. It was awkward. It was. I'm a very powerful mage. Well, I'm a very powerful sorceress. Oh, God.
Yes, you're a very small, pretty sorceress. I was like, oh, God.
You are a small and pretty sorceress.
Oh, God.
I'd like to dip you in butter and sugar and eat you all morning long.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God. Oh, it was very close to that. Sort of. Oh, no. Oof, no. Icky. Icky for Nanga.
Leave in the comments if you want LARP noobs after hours.
Oh.
Or only noobs.
Only noobs, indeed.
Only noobs?
Only noobs, I think, would work. Because, you know...
we need to have a marketing meeting.
It's what it is it's an OnlyFans page, but it's only got, like, incredibly amateurish content. Because
like,
we are...
Bung, do it again, but like sexier. Yeah, that's good, man. Like more sexier though. Yeah. Don't gag on it.
Oh no.
Oh no, do gag on it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that I wasn't the center of that one.
What?
No. Oh,
we all know who the sexy one is in the group.
It's Ian.
It is actually Ian.
It is absolutely Ian.
Jesus.
We've all seen it, fan. But yeah, so that's basically it for the Saturday. Something kind of cute happened just before timeout between Wanda and Mal and Dr. Portal to rid her of her PTSD, effectively. But it was like one of the most sincere and cutest little bits of RP, so I don't really want to talk about that. It's cute.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cute though.
Yeah, it was really
bit
nice.
of heartfelt emo roleplay.
Yeah, we did magic and shit, and it made me very happy.
Okay.
But yeah, and then like that's all. Have you got anything else that happened on Saturday that we haven't talked about?
No.
On to Sunday.
Well, I once again slept like a baby. I had a lovely time.
Mm-hmm.
Get an early night, wake up nice and fresh,
Nice.
and then it was off to go and beat the living hell out of some nilfs.
Some nilfs and an evil mage who had a crush on our magistrate.
Oh, do you know what we forgot from the Saturday? The
God.
second ritual.
With the smoke and the monster noises.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
They did like a ritual to bring down fog, which would have monster noises in it to confuse the enemy. So we all did like monster noises, and there was lots of smoke and stuff. Great performance. Basically, they're killing it. They're killing the sorcerer game, basically.
Yeah, that was so good. I think that might have been Freya's first event for Northern Kingdoms. I can't remember.
Fuck off, was it?
Yeah, I think so. I need to double check, but yeah, incredible RP.
All right.
People are bringing
I know they play
A-game,
Empire, so
yes, so good.
Yeah, they really bring it. Yeah, Sunday we find out there's gonna be this fucking mage. We need to go and stop the mage. There'll be lots of Nilfgaardians. It's like it's a mercenary company, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's like our opposite number, but like a Nilfgaardian type regiment.
Yep.
And we're gonna go down there and we're gonna beat the living hell out of them. At one stage, they're like blow up the centipede. Then we find out quickly, do not blow up the centipede because that makes everyone covered in goop.
Yeah, poisoned.
So we were kind of a separate unit in charge of kind of hunting mages or blowing shit up when seemed good. We haven't talked about it, but we should definitely talk about it now. The Juggernaut rule, which...
What?
The Juggernaut rule with the armor.
Oh, I didn't even know that rule existed.
Really?
No, tell me more.
So, if you're wearing full plate armor from head to toe, you're basically invincible.
Oh.
Unless you're attacked by a dagger. So, this is great. I think I'm right in saying we had 2 battles on the Sunday. Did we?
No, we had one. We had a Juggernaut battle on the Saturday.
Yes.
With that metal monster.
Yes. Who fought like an absolute badass.
Yeah, so good.
I love this Juggernaut rule. When I first read it, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of shit. But the reality of wearing full plate and just... usually the people that own a full plate, unlike scrub noobs like me who only own partial plate, they're usually quite good at fighting as well. So they generally actually become like one-person armies where they're holding back like 10 people on their own, and it's so fucking cool. And every time I had the opportunity, I would bring out my ball dagger and I would do exactly what the ball dagger was meant for. Not actually cut people's balls off, but run up behind heavily armored people when I had a moment where they couldn't see me, get up right behind them and just tap them on the shoulder with the blade and go, dagger, 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 you know? Fuck, it felt good bringing down heavily armored people. It's so cool. Like,
is that
really,
how you...
really fun.
I need to get myself a dagger.
Hot swapping weapons, you never bring a dagger out. It's purely for aesthetics usually when you're on the battlefield. Even if you have a damaged weapon or something like that, you know, in smaller systems it's better because you can actually throw a weapon out your hand. But man, the final battle was so good.
Yeah.
It had everything, right?
Yeah, we had like we had monsters, we had juggernauts, we had archers, you had line fighters, you had mages. Oof.
Bangs.
We had
Lots of bangs. I threw a bomb and then took an absolutely sweet fucking power call on my shield, which I flew around on the ground. And Simon came up and gave me a fake coin, which was very, very nice of him. Because he was like, safe throw, and you took your hit like a champ. And it's like, yeah, nice. So that's really nice. I fought my mind out in this battle. Like, I gave it my everything. I rescued a couple of people. I got downed a bunch. I got beaten up so badly that they circled on me and just beat the crap out of me on the ground. It was fucking amazing. So much fun. There's a photo from after the battle where I'm just screaming, standing over Tom from Larks and Tops.
So good.
I'm not in... because he had attacked Merlot, and nobody fucks with Merlot, and I just bludgeoned him with my sword until he was paste. It was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, the battle was... Oh, man. The bit where there was like a crossbow, like enemy crossbow, and I'm like looking up, and what am I doing? I kill someone, and then I look up and the crossbow person's there, and then they shoot at me, and then my hand immediately, like a puma, whips up and blocks it with the shield. And it's like this awkward moment where I'm like, you're a little too far away for me to charge down because I'll be out of position, and you can't hit me with your feet, so we have to kind of back away from each other. Amazing. So good.
This is part of the reason why I like being a healer so much at LARP, because I get to be on the back lines and I get to watch all of this go on, and I don't have to worry about people sneaking up on me and attacking me because like I'm on the back lines. But like I got to watch you do all of your shit. I got to watch Wanda go and do this incredible like magic stuff. Like they had smoke grenades.
The mage is working. Like
so
your
good.
weapon becomes incredibly hot in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, a strong wind blows you. Like, well, maybe not.
Well, if you've eaten the beans, maybe.
Well, depends how good you are to the wind, I guess.
Oh yeah. And then I got to watch my cousin like Stout have a crossbow off with that evil crossbow NPC, like absolute like demon. And then I get to watch the witches take down all the monster, and then the traumatic injuries started coming in, which is like it became a cluster fuck of traumatic wounds. Like nothing. The best medical RP I will ever have is in Northern Kingdoms. Like there is in Northern Kingdoms, like hands down.
It's
like,
a pleasure.
It's
like the
so
excitement
good.
of I've got this injury, and then you're immediately being treated, and the kind of realization of how serious a problem might be or how not serious it is. The role play that the healers bring. It's fucking great. So good.
The only issue I have is that because I'm dyslexic and because there's loads of noise and overstimulation, I sometimes misread the trauma cards, which is a bit of a shame for me, but it's still fucking great fun. Because
I always worry about the rules. I'm a little worrier when it comes to rules, so I'm always fucking checking in with game team stuff. Do you know what I've realised is if you're playing the game with good intentions, like you're really trying to play the game, fuck it, dude. If you misread it and get the vibe of it, fucking go for it. You know, that's what I think. You know, don't beat yourself up about it.
No, not at all. But it's sometimes I get it wrong, but it's fine. It's like either way, we RP the shit out of it, and it's great. And I start off like healing one person, they get up, they go, and then I turn around and there are 5 other people with multiple traumatic wounds. And it's like as the battle goes on, because they keep respawning the Nilfgaardians, right?
So I'd spoken to Chris, and he had on the Saturday battle, he had come up to me and said to me like, is this too many? Is this not enough? It was after the battle. And I was like, no, that was just right, because it basically you want to get to the point where the last one gets kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Where there's I don't know what they call it in computer game stuff, where it's the epic win, where there's just enough challenge to make it really worthwhile, and then the win feels really good.
It's
like a good D&D thing as well.
Yeah, it's like you've exhausted all of your herbs. You're like my back, like OC, I was in actually physical pain, like because I'd been bending down, like stitching people up, getting them off the ground. Like it became an actual task. But so good. I
felt amazing this weekend. And bear in mind all the stuff of like armor digging into certain like arm or joints or whatever, all this stuff. But man, that final battle, I gave it my everything. Okay, like physically I was exhausted. At one point I actually took a step out and drank some water and just tried to get my heart rate down, because I'm not that fit. And I was like, okay, you're starting to you can feel it when your body's starting to overheat, right?
Yeah.
Like it goes beyond that stage where you're just a sweaty monster to a little bit lightheaded.
Yeah.
So I was like drinking water, taking a minute to settle myself, and then I went back into the fight again. But towards the end of the battle, in one corner, the witches are fucking cutting up the fucking centipede, right? Like, while we're still fighting everything else, the nuns are charging down the right flank. We're getting surrounded from all sides. We're beating them off this side, beating them off that side. And then I think it's Tom again. He comes running over. He just looks so happy. I had a really great engagement where there was a heavily armored dude who's fighting their way through our lines, and I'd dropped my dagger by accident and had been grabbed by one of the enemy Nilfgaardians, so I didn't have anything. And I yelled to Billy's character, your cousin, I lost my dagger! And he looks over his shoulder at his back, and he's got his dagger that's in a pouch so you can pull out. So I literally pull the dagger from behind him, run round the side, and just start shanking the person he's fighting and kill them.
God.
And then slide it back into place again, then go and get my dagger back.
Yeah. You two, like you and Billy, absolute sexy motherfuckers when it comes to the battlefield.
We are dangerous too.
You are so good.
We're a fucking good team. We're a really good team. Yeah. He's got his crossbow. He's got visibility. So when I'm concentrating on crushing someone, he's like, now this. It's very, very good. You
guys were literally like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Brad Pitt Angelina Jolie film.
No.
Oh my god, you have to watch it. There's a scene right at the end where they're fighting in perfect unison.
Is that where they fight in it's like a mall or something, like a shop, like Walmart or something? I have seen that movie.
That was you and Billy.
Can I be Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, you can be whoever the fuck you want to be, baby.
Sweet.
But you guys are so good. And I was, again, jaw on the floor moment. It's so good. But
I look like, because I'm wearing at least an inch of a gambeson and heavy armor, I literally look like the after photo from the Chad, kind of and in reality I look like the scrawny little nerdy guy. But add all those layers onto me, I actually look like quite intimidating, especially with my big helmet.
Yeah, you look terrible.
Sorry.
So good. But yeah, so at the end of the battle, like when we're on the final wave of Nilfgaardians, it gets to a point where there's not enough soldiers, and any soldiers that are up are on so low health.
We were fucked. We were absolutely fucked.
And at this point, I'm holding Merlot. I'm literally dragging May because.
Is this where because I was at one stage I was trying to reform the line.
Yeah, this is when. So you were at the front, I was at the back.
I'm just yelling. Someone says we should pull back, and I'm to the healers, and I'm like, no, ignore that. We hold the line here, because if we get hit and then start pulling back, if we're already on the healers, we've got nowhere to pull back to.
Yeah.
And man, I really let all my masculinity out. It was a good time.
It was good.
I was very loud and very shouty.
Yeah.
Felt great.
And I was dragging May, like, because I did a little thing. I was like, can I drag you? And May's up for anything. So I was like, yes. We get portaled out. We're in the first portal going home.
Hold on. This isn't exactly what happened.
Is it not?
No, you're forgetting I came wobbling up because I had just been hit and got made concussed because they hit my shield and I was concussed and I was doddering around. It was either you, I think it was somebody else. It was the other lady.
The other healer.
What's her name? Fuck. She just shoves me through the portal while I'm concussed. So I love the idea of like, I have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden I'm in the camp. I'm traumatized up the absolute wazoo.
Yeah.
And luckily, go on.
It's only me as a surgeon back at camp.
No, I got the doctor.
Yeah, but he came back in the next portal.
Did he?
I literally
lay on the
told you to
ground
fuck
for
off.
A bit. I was fucked up. I lay on the ground for a while.
Yeah.
You tell me what was happening because I was in full blown trauma mode at that stage.
So I get to the point where we get portaled back into town. I'd done a little check in with May before, and we kind of knew this was going to happen. I literally imagine, you know, when you get home and you chuck your keys away, like you chuck them on the sofa or something.
Why would you chuck them on the sofa?
Well, I don't know. You chuck your bag away or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did to Merlot's poor little traumatized, almost dying body. I chuck her to the ground so hard. Like it's literally a yeet moment.
What's nice is she's pretty tough.
Yeah.
She can take it.
Yeah. But she does like a proper little stunt fall. So I know, like, I trust May to fall properly and to break her fall and stuff. And at this point, I am exhausted. I grab my medical shit and I just start working. And then you're like, I'm concussed. I need help. And I'm like, no, go away. She's more important. And then everybody else starts portaling back.
You're not going to like what I'm about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
My favourite doctor is the doctor with the moustache.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about the way he just gives off Doctor of the Free Company type vibes.
Yeah.
As along with the lady as well. The pair of them are like the competent medics, and they're both really good.
Yeah.
Whereas I get the feeling Mal is more someone that learned on the job, as it were.
Mal is what you get to get the job done.
Yes, like you stop the bleeding happening and then you sew it up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Whereas
there's
the
also
doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. He's like the David Attenborough of doctors.
I love being treated by him. He's the best. And like midway through, Billy comes back with the apple. What's it called? The apple cognac? Was it cognac? Do you have some?
Me? Cognac?
Yeah, the apple cognac. Anyway,
No,
he comes
I
running
do
over
not.
with the apple cognac. I drink some. He's like, doctor? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And then goes, well, just to settle the nerves. So he has, like, it's just, I love the play of it is so good. Like, you know, everyone's fucking getting on with it. He treats the wound. Anyway, I love being treated by that guy.
He's so good.
Well played. In fact, all the healers, all the players, let me just keep winding that. All of the people that attend, they are all amazing. But how did Merlot? Did you actually treat Merlot, or did you just leave her in the dirt?
No. So I grabbed my medical kit because, like, at that battle, I'd literally burnt through everything, like even down to the fizz reps. I had no bandages left. My little bit of string that I make stitches out of had gone. Like it had fallen off when I'd got downed. And and I had nothing left, so I had to grab more supplies. So I went and grabbed that, started doing all the surgery, and then at the end of it, when everybody was like better and well again, it is physically exhausting. Like I'd felt like I'd actually just been in a field hospital.
Yeah.
It was hard.
I felt really emotionally and physically exhilarated after the weekend. Is the best way I can put it. Like, it was full on. I'd worked really hard, but I felt good about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's I fucking love Northern Kingdoms.
It's the best LARP. It's my favorite LARP. I think it's the best LARP I attend. It's my favorite. It's other LARPs represent a whole bunch of different stuff, but it's the culmination of all the things, and also the time having invested into it to be able to develop such wonderful characters. It's the game team, the way
the personal plot as well.
It's so. Me and Ian were talking about this, and it's like there's so many, and me and May in the car because I drove her back down and we were just talking about it. It's like there's a lot of stuff that you need to get right to make Northern Kingdoms. In fact, Wome and Northern Kingdoms are really good examples where Wome has similar traits to Northern Kingdoms but needs time to develop.
Yeah.
Northern Kingdoms is like well and truly baked. I thought it was interesting talking to Simon and Ruth and Ian about not Ian,
Chris.
No, not Chris. Tom. That's what I'm thinking of. I was thinking about his his Facebook name rather than his real name. Yeah, Tom. It's culture, it's attitude, and it's about having people that fit in the system. And I think people like Meredith and Paige are exemplars of this attitude of like really bringing cool shit to the game, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's something that I was saying about the healers, like, and it is everyone that plays at Northern Kingdoms. Everyone's style is so individual. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell if you blindfolded someone and
why would you do that though?
Oh, just calm down, love. It's not an only noobs. But if you did, and you did a blind medics test, you would be able to tell which medic was giving you what medical attention, because each and every single style that we have is so different. Like
I think that goes all around the camp. I think
but that's what I mean. It's like every single player is so different. Like you've got all of the witches, you've got James, and you've got Chris, and you've got Dane. Like those are the 3 witches that were there this weekend. Like they're all so different, and they have such different RP methods. And then within the dwarves, you've got all of the Mahakandors, and you've got all of the guys. Everyone has such individual game, and they all have their own individual stories. And they've developed it over the course of their like time in the system with all of their downtime, and it's so good. It
makes the game so rich.
Yeah.
Like I remember when The Witcher 3 first came out, and it was just like I remember being so impressed by how a simple encounter with an NPC can lead to some of the most thought-provoking or interesting like moral dilemmas or interactions. That's exactly how the game feels to play as well, where some things are just environmental, some things are plot, but all things are kind of both, because if you engage with things, it can develop. Maybe something innocuous is actually something quite important. Like, I don't know, man. It's great.
It's so good. And I I still say that like Northern Kingdoms is up there absolutely as some of my top LARPs. I think now that I've been playing it for nearly a year, I've started to develop that personal plot. I think anyone that comes to Northern Kingdoms for the first time, if you're nervous and you don't jump in at the deep end, it's not a bad thing. It just takes a while to get that personal plot rolling.
Agreed. Also giving lots of hooks and talking to, like, we were lucky because we literally, well, not lucky, I think most people have the option to do this, but talk to the orcs about what you want from the game, which is the sad thing is, it's like sometimes when you're approaching something like Northern Kingdoms, you don't know what you want to do, right? It's not a bad thing, but you can kind of develop your way. If you do have a good idea, you can probably jump straight into whatever the fuck it is you're doing, you know? Like, which is pretty special.
Yeah. But I think it's really, I am so sad that there is only one Northern Kingdoms this year. And I hate the fact that Simon is getting married.
So selfish.
Selfish.
I forgot something really important.
Okay.
We get back from the battle and we all sit down.
Oh, yeah.
And everything's cool. And then a whole bunch of referees start milling around. And I'm like, oh, bad. And then there's a time freeze. Just as Ethelred gets back to the camp. Everything explodes in confetti. It was, and glitter. It was amazing. Yeah. We did check with us about the glitter, which is foreboding. They had tried to kill Ethelred. I came out of the blast fairly unscathed, relatively compared to other people.
Yeah.
Ellie got fucked up. My brother got fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, they were
Songbird
in the camp.
And everyone. Yeah.
And they might have been waiting or watching to activate it as Ethelred approached, or it could have been a magical trigger. Dear listener.
It's so good.
I do not know.
Yeah.
I want vengeance in this life or the next, though. I will have it. We got big plans for downtime. We've got a lot of explosives. Allegedly, the Dragons of Tucson are dead, according to the propagandists from the Nilfgaardians. So I think it's about time the Dragon of Tucson, that definitely isn't us, really let the Nilfs know who they're fucking with. Yeah. While also trying to hunt down... we also scried the confetti.
Yeah.
Made in a shop that does like party explosives, like fireworks in Tucson.
Oh God.
And the vision was the confetti was made there, but it's all family connected. So we have like quite a large intelligent apparatus with the rest of us and quite a few fake coins, so we're going to try and pull a bit of spying, a bit of explosives, maybe some wine.
That's so exciting.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah.
I for my downtime, I'm going to spend, so we get 2 weeks of downtime, so 2 activities. We left the nuns behind in the battlefield. They didn't make it through the portal.
Mucho grondo mistako.
Big O.
Leaving battle nuns behind.
Yeah. So we're going to go get them back.
Are you part of Get the Nuns Back?
I am part of Get the Nuns Back.
Team Get the Nuns Back is a fucking hype. There was like immediately people were like, let's get the fucking nuns back. Even I think Merlot's in on Team Getting the Nuns Back, isn't she?
I don't know.
I think the one of the nuns was hired to be her bodyguard.
God, that would have been so good though.
No, actually in the battle, but then they got kidnapped. So now Merlot wants to go and rescue them back.
Oh my God.
But the thing is, it's like, how do I put this? I want to see what happens next. It's like when you finish a comic and you're like, like, you know, when you're reading a comic anthology, right? Like Sandman or something, you're like, you get to the end of a book and you're like, or a comic and you're like, that was so good. I want to read what happens next. Like, that's how I feel about Northern Kingdom's plot. I want to keep experiencing and keep on following these like, and once we discover who this nemesis is and we take them on or whatever, there's loads of other plot going on. Everything's just so
it's so good
full,
and I was
rich.
I was having a chat to, this is the reason why again I love this system, is the feedback system is so instantaneous. So like we were talking to Chris in the car park of the event, and he was like, yeah, I was watching you play, and I noticed that like whenever anyone was doing anything, you'd go, do you need a medic? Because I was so keen to go on things. But there's not really very much, if you're a human medic, there's not really very much like medic specific plot. Or at least there wasn't in this game anyway. There was in the caves. Like in the caves there was a lot of experimentation and surgery game. But not so much in this system, which isn't a bad thing because I was still fucking busy with all the traumatic wounds. But he was like, so next time I'm going to write specific traumatic injuries with varied games so that you guys have something to do, and it's like varied and you actually have to like properly think about stuff.
Do you know what would be fun? A plague or something as well. Or disease.
God,
like, that'd be fun.
Yes, that would be so good.
Hey, I'm an ideas man here. But yeah, I just think like the core four of Simon, Ruth, Tom, and Chris. There are other people, but they're very intelligent. They're very nice people. They really want to make a good game. They're super passionate about it, and their experience is really shining through. It's a great fucking team. The crew. What's the guy that was always at the front of the center of stuff? He was so good. He got a shout out.
Was it the guy that was the evil mage?
He was great, but he's not the one I'm thinking of. He was also great, by the way. In
Jordan?
fact, do you know what? I don't want to mention it because all of the crew were fucking great. In fact, I felt so like a bit of a broken record by the end of the weekend, just being like, that fucking slapped when you did this or when you did that, you know, like so fucking cool. Yeah.
I think we're so lucky and so privileged to get to play against such good crew. And it's not just at Northern Kingdoms, like at Wome the crew was phenomenal. At a lot of the ILUP games the crew is so good, and it's like the game is not the game until you have something to bounce off, and having a crew like that is so good.
It's the perfect trifecta. It takes organisers to make a good game and run a good game, which aren't necessarily the same things. Great crew, enthusiastic, creative, and same thing goes for the players as well. Like, just because you show up with your ticket doesn't mean that it's you shouldn't bring something to the table, you know. And yeah, I think Northern Kingdoms is near as damn perfect as you're gonna get, in my opinion. Although it's shit, please don't go.
Go after we've bought tickets.
It's something I was talking about with someone recently. The veterans tickets is a great system. Other small LARP should do this. ILARP did it for the last event for Flying Lead, where only people that have played before. There's because I was talking to a person, I won't say who, but they were talking about the anxiety of not being able to get tickets. That's real for some folks. You know? So having the ability is, we're actually talking about Wome and whether Wome are going to do it. I don't know whether Wome are going to do it, by the way. But it's something to think about. I don't know. NK does it well.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a way of assuring that you get a constant player base, right? That's not to say it like gatekeeps, but it's just a good way, and it stops with the.
I think like I agree, but if it wasn't for all the new players we keep meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
good.
Like loads of people, like Matt. It was his first event.
Was it? Fuck off.
It's his first event. That's his first Northern Kingdoms, because I had literally said to him, Northern Kingdoms is the best, you should go, and I kept on banging on about it, and he was like, I'm here because you said it's the best. And then after the weekend I said to him, like, he said, you said I should come here because it was really, really good. And I was like, and he said, yeah, I had a fucking great time. It's like, I didn't lie, did I? And he's like, no, you didn't lie, this is fucking brilliant. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. This is a system where you get to come and say, I'm a cowardly banker in a mercenary company, and we'll make it work. We'll have game for it. You know, I think he owns all the debt now, by the way.
He does. He also potentially owns Mal in a non-slavery way. Because I
took out serfdom.
Because I decided to take out a loan to like it's Mal doesn't understand big words when it comes to money. So when somebody says, theoretically, you now have 200 crowns, and then you go, give me my money now, and they go, I don't have it. It's theoretical. I then start stabbing. It's very good.
What I like about the banker is it's not malicious. It's
No,
purely business.
just business.
He's wants to go and get his debt back. And if he has a private army at his disposal, that would make that easier.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why
Yeah.
owning a free company is a good idea. It's very dry and professional, and I love it.
Yeah. It's so good. I
It's
can't
not
wait
because
for
they want
next
to
event.
take over the world, because they want to get their debt in.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
I cannot wait for next Northern Kingdoms. It's going to be so good.
It's too far away already.
Don't think about it. It's fine.
I might listen to. I know that they're on the audiobooks are on Spotify.
Yeah, they are, I think.
And I listened to the first. I listened to the first story bit and a little bit after from the first book. And if you just, it's like the first chapter or whatever is basically like its own standalone short story. If you want something to just enjoy before bed, that is great brain candy. I highly recommend it, you know.
Oh, it's going to be so good. But yeah, as always, thank you so much to our Patreons. You guys are amazing. Anybody that interacts with the podcast, whether it's by just commenting, liking, listening, we love you all. You're incredible, and you help keep us running and help me natter at Dave and Ian and Bung with all of my ridiculous adventures. I really appreciate all of you. And in particular, dun, 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 dun. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Ah, Stefan.
Yes, Stefan.
I'm coming for the Navarches.
Yeah. This E3 next, my guy.
Oh, I've still got decisions.
Yeah, so many decisions to make.
But I also get my funeral, which is
You
going
do.
to be fucking sick.
Hey, Agni is going to write such a good speech for your funeral.
I want it to be a national day of mourning in Navarre. I want a state funeral. I want the
Sure.
Empress to show up and shed a tear. You know, this is the level I want. Excuse me?
I can give you a
Packet of What's-Its?
packet of What's-Its and a Krispy Kreme.
I will take it. I will take that.
I'll shove your body in Murder Alley. How about that?
What? No, there's
don't know.
nothing left.
There. Oh yeah. Oh no.
It's a circle of life, Millie.
Oh my
It's
god,
like-
you're shark shit.
It's the buffaloes in
Yeah.
where they kill the lions because they eat lion.
Mm.
I think it's how I understand the Lion King to go down.
Sure. Sure.
Right? Because he talks
No
about the circle of life, right? And then
Uh-huh.
then he gets killed by buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then Scar's all like, murderer.
Uh-huh.
Because it's Jeremy Irons, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good. I
I'm
met
really
Jeremy
enjoying
Irons when I was about 14
Yeah.
in Cork in Ireland. And
Uh-huh.
it was just before Die Hard with a Vengeance came out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the one set in New York City with Samuel L. Jackson in it.
Yeah.
Okay, where he plays the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm sat watching. I'm 14. I'm having an introspective moment watching the sun come down over Cork Bay. And this guy comes and stands next to me. He sits on the big breeze block thing I'm sat on. And he goes, and we sit there in silence for like 2 minutes, but like an easy 2 minutes, not like an awkward, weird 2 minutes, like an easy 2 minutes.
Mm.
And he goes, it's really beautiful, isn't it? And I go, it really is. And we sit there for another couple of minutes. And then he gets up and goes, it's really lovely talking to you. And I said, I laughed and went, you too. And he walked off. And then my mum came running across a field, and I remember it because my mum doesn't run, and she was running across a field. And she comes over and goes, oh, "What did he say to you?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Turned out that was Jeremy Irons just before
Fucking hilarious.
that happened. Yeah, Jeremy Irons, baller, like straight up baller. Little did you know, like I think what's the term, like player can spot game or whatever. What's that line? Whatever.
God.
But like Jeremy Irons, like he saw in me and I saw in him, like, you know.
A beautiful, beautiful relationship.
Yeah, we're kind of the same anyway, like very similar. Like he's obviously been nominated for a lot of awards or whatever, and Lovey quite a big career in some really classic movies. But I feel like me and him have a lot in common.
I think yeah. I think definitely. I think you need to actually like do Dave summaries of Disney films.
I think Simon Says we should end the episode.
Yeah. I'll see you at Empire, Dave.
All right, maybe.